I think we should start bullying this guy. Really, Coca-Cola? You're saving the planet. Hey guys, what's up? It's Amy. Welcome back to my channel. I make videos on sustainable living for anyone and everyone because I believe we can all save the planet. So hit that subscribe button because why wouldn't you want to save the planet? So before we get into today's video, I have a couple housekeeping items that we'll need to address. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's fine. The first thing is I've been kind of blowing up. I don't want to use blowing up because I'm not that famous yet, but I've been getting a lot of new subscribers recently. So thank you guys so much for all the new people. Oh my god. I hope you enjoy the videos. You probably do if you subscribe. But anyways, agenda item number 2 is that I'm going to be, I don't know how many times I've addressed this. I know I put it on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, shameless plug, go follow me on Instagram. But I'm going to be moving to France in a couple of months, so that's exciting. So follow my Instagram if you want updates on that. There's a lot of struggle busting right now, but it's fine. Hopefully in like 2 months I'll be in Paris. Fingers crossed. And then housekeeping item number 3 is oh yeah, I started a website, and the goal of this website is going to be basically a place where I can put just more resources, a place where I can write a blog post that have to do with sustainability, because I want my content to be available in as many formats as people need, so it can be accessible to more people basically. So yeah, that's gonna be, I'm gonna have it linked down below. You can go, I don't know if you can't follow websites, can you? I don't think that's the thing. Bookmark it. You can bookmark my website. All that to say that I made a website. You should go bookmark it, but that's not what this video is about. I've been talking for 4 minutes. I wonder how much of that I'm gonna cut out. But anyways, today's video is going to be a reaction to one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Aime, and she runs the YouTube channel Sustainably Vegan. You guys probably all watch her videos already. A lot of you guys actually find me through her videos, but if you're not already following her, definitely do. She has a lot of content that is kind of similar to mine, and it's even more higher quality, so definitely go follow her if you aren't already. But yeah, today I'm going to be reacting to her video on what I wish I knew before starting a sustainable lifestyle, because god, there is so many things that I wish I understood. So I'm kind of curious as to how many of these I can relate to. Probably a lot, because I made so many mistakes. Let's watch the video. Come on.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I'm so happy that you can join me for this one, because I would have loved to have watched a video like this before I started my sustainable lifestyle. So hopefully some of
so I think when I'm gonna try to put a date on this. I think I started transitioning, started getting into sustainability. I know it was my junior or senior year. Was it junior? I think it was junior, because that's when I took AP Environmental Science. But it was sometime in high school, late in my high school journey. And I remember kind of getting started in sustainability, but it didn't really take off until I was in college. And I remember watching a lot of like videos that were about sustainability and feeling like this is impossible. Like, I can't do all of these things. I had to confiscate this toy because they were being very loud with it. As I was saying, I remember when I first got into sustainability, obviously I got onto like the YouTube side of it, and I watched so many different YouTubers, and I was kind of almost overwhelmed because there was so much information and I had no idea what to do, and I ended up making a lot of mistakes.
These things that I wish I had known before I started will be helpful for you guys too. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if you guys have any tips as well, please let us know and share with this community. I also just want to give a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Your support means a lot to me, and I just wanted to say a big thank you. If you're interested in any extra content, then I will put the link down below, and feel free to check it out if you have the time. So today I want to talk to you about the things that I wish I had known before I started plant-based eating, veganism.
So I guess I would have to say my first dip in the water when it comes to sustainability is going vegan for like a month. When I was in high school, I think this was my junior year. It had to have been my junior year of high school. Whenever I took AP Environmental Science, I remember going vegan, and I lasted a month, and it was mostly because of social pressure. Basically everyone, including my family, my friends, made fun of me for it, and my mom was like, you're going to starve, you can't keep doing this. So I quit being vegan, I think after a month, and that was really sad for me. And then when I went to college, I definitely was able to find way more people who were into sustainability, who were vegan and all that kind of stuff. So it was a more inclusive environment, which made it easier for me to like be sustainable. But yeah, that was like my first dip into being sustainable, and it did not last very long.
Low waste, low impact, all of these things, and I'm just gonna get straight into it. So grab a cup of tea and let's get straight into the video.
Her and her boyfriend are so cute. I remember watching their video on like a long distance relationship, and I honestly, just telling you, I don't know if I could do a long distance relationship for that long, but they're just so cute.
The first thing I wish someone had told me is that you can't change everything all at once.
And that, I mean, yeah, back to the point of being vegan, I basically went vegan overnight, which was probably another part of the problem. I just stopped completely, and that's just, you can't do that. It's just so hard to be able to change such an ingrained habit. So I definitely recommend not just changing a lot super quickly,
and that is actually okay. If you think about it, we want to be on these lifestyles for the rest of our life. So if we're really trying to sprint to get there, we're going to be taking on all of these extra things, and actually it's going to be super difficult. Also, you have to take accessibility into account. When I first started going low waste or trying to reduce my waste, we didn't have any zero waste shops. We didn't have.
So kind of speaking on that, it was also discouraging trying to be sustainable in my city, because I remember my friend was telling me about how I think he lives somewhere in Colorado, and he was like, yeah, they come and pick up our compost, and I'm like, you guys have compost basically done for you? That's so crazy. But then when I went to college, I was able to do composting super easily. You have to understand that you can't do it all, and it all depends on what you have accessible to you. Not everyone will have like a zero waste store down the street. Not everyone will be able to have super easy composting or have the time to like make their own composting available. So you have to basically do what you're able to do.
Many kind of accessible farmers markets near me, but now obviously I do, but this is 3-4 years like into my journey, and some of you probably still don't even have zero waste shops or farmers markets or even supermarkets that have stuff that you can buy unpackaged. My words are really doing well today, guys. So definitely trying to do everything all at once can make you feel really bad about your efforts, even though your efforts are obviously going to be pretty damn good. So definitely don't give yourself a hard time, and try and think realistically about what you can change now, and then
try not to see what other people are doing, like unless you're in the same circumstances as them. But I know my problem was that I was looking to, it's great to have idols and to have people you look up to, but if someone is in a different circumstance than you, if they live in a different city, even a different country, they might have more resources or less resources. So you can't judge two different people on sustainability. I think as long as you are making literally doing the best that you can, then I think you're sustainable. So definitely try to make the changes that you're able to make, and make the changes that can fit your lifestyle, because we all have different lifestyles. Some of us are parents, some of us are broke and out of college, and that person is me. But yeah, definitely try to do what you can do, because that's all we can hope for.
Where you can change in the future. The next one is, I really wish
Yes, talking about the future. I know when I started going zero waste, like I was talking about in high school, I wasn't really able to compost. My parents were like, no, we're not making a compost for our house. So that kind of died out really quickly. I really wanted to start composting. But then when I got to college, my dorm room had a composting like facility there, so I was able to compost pretty easily. But then my apartment for this year didn't have any composting, so I wasn't able to compost. But then I'm an idiot and I didn't think about this earlier, but I could have just taken the compost, because like I went to the University of Minnesota and they have like compost bins in like the student union and like buildings like that. I could have just kept my compost and taken it there, but I would have had to talk to my roommates about that, obviously, because I'm not gonna just keep food in the freezer if they're uncomfortable with that. So it all depends on the circumstances. I just gave you 3 examples where in one situation I couldn't compost, another situation it was super easy for me to compost, and then in the third situation I could compost, but there's definitely some obstacles there. So you have to consider the fact that maybe in the future you might have different resources open up, and maybe in the future things could change for the worse, and you just need to be prepared for that and to understand that it's all okay and it's all part of the game.
Someone had said to me that making mistakes on your journey is a very natural and normal part of any big change, or even a small.
Literally today, something that I still need to work on is being quick to tell those people to not give me a bag. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like when I was a cashier, if someone came up to me, they had a cup, right? They came to me for the checkout and they were just buying a single cup. I beeped it. I would be like, do you need a bag? Because I don't need a bag to carry this to my car. So I'd be like, do you need a bag? And maybe that person's like, yeah, can I have a bag? Or like, no, I don't need a bag, just give me the receipt. But for some reason, no one ever asked me if I need a bag. So I have to be super quick to be like, no sir, please, I'm just gonna take that. I don't need a bag for that, or I have a bag for that. And because of the pandemic, I feel bad just being like, no, take it out of the bag. But usually that's what I'll do. But yeah, it's hard sometimes and you will make mistakes, but eventually you get quicker and you remember to bring your reusable bag. You remember to say no to things that you don't need, like at career fairs or something like that. So you definitely will improve.
Small change in your life. I definitely gave myself a really hard time, but in a very serious way, every time I made some kind of mistake. If I wasted something by accident, in the early days, if I ate a bit of cheese or something completely by accident, I would still feel really guilty about it, even though it wasn't my fault.
The other thing was, so then when I went to college, that's when I went fully vegan. And I definitely remember a couple times I would start eating something like super early on. I'd start eating something and actually sometimes my friends would be the ones to be like, is that vegan? And I'd be like, darn it. So yeah, you definitely improve on these things and you learn to check labels and to remember that you're vegan before you start eating something that could not be vegan. But yeah, you definitely improve and you need to not give yourself a hard time super early on, because then you could get discouraged and quit, and quitting is worst case scenario. It's a lot better to make mistakes than to just give up.
Even though it wasn't my fault. So I definitely think that understanding that making mistakes is the perfect way to learn, and thinking about it in a positive way rather than a negative way can really alter the way you are seeing your journey and give you that motivation and that inspiration to continue and be like, oh, I made a mistake and I've learned from this. I can use this knowledge to move forward in a much better place because I now have this newfound kind of information.
It's so great to think about it in a positive light, because like I was saying, giving up is worst case scenario. So if you make a mistake, think about it as a learning point. Now you know better for the future. Now I know that if I go to Family Dollar, I better be quick because they don't ask if you need bags there. But yeah, definitely if you think about it in a more positive light, it'll definitely help you have a better relationship with yourself and your sustainability habit.
Definitely making mistakes is actually a good thing, and seeing it as a good thing can really help you with any eco-anxiety that you're feeling or any kind of worries you're having about your journey. The next one, which I think is actually one of the most important, but your journey is your own. Do not compare yourself to other people.
Yes, I'm so glad that she brought this up in this video, but I definitely remember early on I 100% would compare myself to other people. And I know I've shared with you guys a little bit of my backstory when it comes to accessibility to sustainable options, and also the social environment that I grew up in my hometown, and how some of those things just made it really hard for me to be sustainable, to be on a plant-based diet. So definitely try not to compare yourself to other people, because everyone has different circumstances, and you definitely shouldn't measure yourself up to someone who might have a way easier time being sustainable than you.
And just focus on what you're doing and your own personal journey. Now, this can be said for so many other parts of your life as well, but I think it's one of the most important ones, because if you're comparing yourself to, say, someone who uses a trash jar, or if you're comparing yourself to someone who has quit flying, or if you're comparing yourself to someone who is 100%
on the point of someone who has quit flying, if you live on a different continent than your family, I'm not gonna expect you to just never see your family again just so you can be sustainable. There's ways that you can do like carbon offsetting. You can travel to see your family less. Maybe you can figure out a way to like move back home for a while so that you can see your family for a bit of time, and then you can go back to where you're living. But someone else who might live in the same town as their family might be able to quit flying because they live close to their family and they don't have any reason to fly somewhere that isn't just for fun. And also on that some point, if you live in Europe, you can basically get on a train and go to a lot of different locations when it comes to traveling. But if you live on an island in, I don't know, Indonesia or something, if you want to go anywhere, if you want to travel, if traveling is something that's really important to you, you're gonna get on a plane. So yeah, that's why I think it's really important when it comes to any aspect of sustainability. You need to consider your own circumstances and your values. You need to consider your own circumstances because we all come from different backgrounds.
Ethical vegan and has access to everything to be that way, then you can get so down about it, and this is where your eco-anxiety can really take over. And also this is where you can start comparing yourself and you get these horrible feelings like jealousy. I know I certainly did. Or you get these feelings of,
they're literally such a cute couple,
things of like you're not good enough, or actually your efforts aren't good enough, and that is absolutely not true. Everything that you're doing is amazing. You are becoming a conscious consumer and you are deciding to take control of the way that you're wasting or your habits or...
Exactly. You also have to keep in mind that even if you're not 100%, 1000% sustainable, 100% zero waste, you're still probably better than most Americans. You're still probably doing more for the planet than a lot of other people, and you're doing better than you who wasn't sustainable. So that's the person you should be comparing yourself to. Unsustainable you versus sustainable you. And if you compare those two people, you really get to appreciate how big of an impact you're having.
You are participating in trying to make this place a little bit better for yourself and for everyone else here. So try not to compare yourself to others, because your journey is your own, and it's important what you do and how you participate in your own journey and the collective as a whole. The next one is to remember that these terms such as minimalist, zero waste, they're just guidelines. They are not absolute rules that if you...
So as I've mentioned, I studied sustainability when I was in college. I minored in sustainability studies, and one of the classes that we have to take is the it's called Sustainable People. It's basically like a crash course. It's basically a crash course on sustainability. You go through a lot of different topics like wind, air, water, population, natural gas. We just basically go through a lot of different topics and kind of talk about them in a sustainable lens, basically. And one of the things that we talked about was obviously greenwashing and all that kind of stuff, and how a lot of the language when it comes to sustainability, even the word sustainability itself, it's basically more of a feeling and more of a, like, it's something that, like, how do you measure sustainability? There's actually a way to measure sustainability, but like the problem with a lot of these things is that they're not set in stone. Like if I tell you this is uranium, like this is the element uranium, it's like, yes, that is or is not uranium. But if I say like this is sustainable, like there's no one way to measure that, and there's no one way to like prove something is or isn't sustainable. like even when it comes to minimalism, something could or cannot be minimalism, and it depends on the circumstances. It depends on like the person themselves. For me personally, I love clothing. So I have a decent amount of clothes, I have a decent amount of shoes. So to me, I'm still minimalist because I have what I need, and I have what brings value to me. But to someone else, I have way too many clothes, and I can't even call myself a minimalist because I have too many clothes. So these words aren't really things. Oh, I hate when my camera cuts off. But basically what I'm trying to say is a lot of the terms when it comes to sustainability aren't really things that you can, they're not scientific. Basically they're not things you can really measure. You can compare and you can evaluate and you can come to a conclusion depending on circumstances, but something can or cannot be sustainable in one circumstance, and something can or cannot be minimalist in another circumstance. And then there's other situations when it comes to words like eco-friendly, natural, biodegradable, where that's where you can get into greenwashing, because some of these terms aren't actually regulated, especially when it comes to food. They're not regulated by the EPA. Companies will use these words, and because they're not actually regulated, it's really easy to trick consumers into thinking something is actually good for the planet by using words like eco-friendly, natural, all natural, when something could still be bad for the planet even though it has like a green label. And one of the only things that is super regulated is organic. That's like one of the things that when it comes to sustainability, you can't put like an organic label on your apples if they're not organic.
Mess up one, then you've completely failed. The good thing about these terms is that they provide these kind of guidelines so you can understand the parameters of what you're trying to stay in and what you're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, I really like that she's using the term of like a guideline. It's like this is kind of what you're going for, but there's no hard and fast rules of like this is sustainable, this is not sustainable, this is minimalist, this is not minimalist. They're basically guidelines. They're rules that you can look to and you can follow to, and then see what fits and what doesn't fit and how you can apply them to your own life. But like she mentioned earlier in the video, your journey is your own journey, and you need to apply these rules to your own life in a way that makes sense.
So if you see them as absolute, then again you can have these really negative effects, and you can actually be doing yourself more harm than good because you're trying to strive for this perfectionism that you might not actually reach. Now if you're someone who has,
that's kind of similar to the first point that she made of not trying to take on everything at once. It's really important to be kind to yourself and to do the best that you can.
Access to all of these things, and you're really close, and you're really near that perfect kind of thing, then good for you. That's not the same for everyone else, and everyone's journey, as I said before, is personal. So it's so important that you see these things as guidelines and as goals and these kind of places to get to, because when we have goals, it makes it so much easier to actually achieve really big things. But just remember to see them as guidelines, because then when you do fail and you make mistakes, then you see it as a learning curve. You do not see it as an absolute failure. The next one is you do not have to give up everything you love. And in fact, I encourage you not to.
One of the things that I remember, this was a mistake. Like I said earlier, I love fashion, I love clothes. And when I first went, when I first started on a sustainable lifestyle, I was like, oh, I can't really have any clothes now. I have to like completely reduce my wardrobe to the smallest amount possible because it's not sustainable to have a bunch of clothes. But then as I kind of did further research and I kind of considered it, I was like, well, I love clothing, and as long as I'm buying sustainable clothing from thrift stores and all that kind of stuff, then it's not really a negative impact on the planet, and it's having a positive impact on my life. So I realized that I don't have to make that change. So yeah, I definitely love this point of realizing that you don't have to literally just give up everything that you enjoy.
A lot of people, when I started making zero waste videos, would say things like, oh, but I'm an artist and I have all of these different things that I have to use. Does that mean I have to give them up? Oh, I love reading and I just can't stand reading it on an e-reader. Do I have to give up all my books? No, I really don't encourage you to give up these things that you love, because if you have a miserable lifestyle while you're sustainable,
how long do you think that's going to last? Not very long. So I definitely think it is important to continue living the lifestyle that you enjoy, but making it as sustainable as possible. Obviously, like, if you enjoy buying water balloons every day, filling them up with water and throwing them on the sidewalk and watching the rain wash it away, maybe you should change that. I don't know why that would bring you joy, but for the most part, if you enjoy doing something, I'm sure there's a way that you can make it sustainable.
You can make massive changes in other areas of your life without sacrificing some of the things that bring you genuine joy. If you gave up everything.
But if the thing that brings you genuine joy is filling up water balloons with water every day and splashing them on the sidewalk and watching the plastic wash away, maybe you should give that up. But yeah, for the most part, if you enjoy doing things, you don't need to like cut off everything that's beautiful and enjoyable in your life just to have a sustainable lifestyle. Because like I said, you're probably gonna give up. Like I was saying, if you give up everything that you enjoy in life, you're gonna give up being sustainable.
That gave you joy. Imagine how hard your lifestyle would be to continue for the rest of your life. It would make things so much harder because you wouldn't feel empowered and you wouldn't feel excited to make those changes. Also, you do have to remember that yes, while some of the responsibility is yours, some of the responsibility is also of these companies and these corporations to make better, more eco-friendly stuff for us.
So I recently watched a video by Kristen Leo, one of my favorite sustainability YouTubers, and she was basically talking about how, why do we put so much of a weight on sustainability on individuals when these corporations are based. I think corporations are the biggest problem, especially when you consider the fact that they're dumping all of these toxins into rivers. Like, no amount of shopping eco-friendly is going to stop them from dumping things into rivers. If we don't stop these corporations from having such a negative impact on the planet, it's going to be really hard for us to make meaningful change in the climate to the point where we can actually evade an ecological disaster. So I think we need to be more into like environmental policy, into lobbying our public officials to actually stand up to the planet and to implement policies that, yes, are going to cost money. All good things cost money. It is going to cost money to like put up all these regulations and to make sure that these corporations aren't polluting the planet. But like, just because you own the land that a river is on doesn't mean you should be able to dump things into that river, because it ends up everywhere, literally worldwide. Just because you own this area of land doesn't mean you can pollute the air around it, because that air is going to go everywhere. So that's why I think environmental policy needs to be an effort by everyone and not just like a single country. Company A over here making all this disaster is going to be horrible for all of us, even if we're trying our best. So we need to make sure that we are forcing these companies to also not kill us by polluting the air.
Us to consume. All I would say is maybe think about another way in your life that you can really dramatically reduce your impact without having to give up all of those things that you desperately love. And the last one,
I remember watching a video by MuchelleB, and she was basically talking about how she does carbon off-putting, and that's basically a way where, like, if you love traveling, you can still travel and then do carbon why can't I say it? You can travel and then do carbon offsetting. I think it's carbon offsetting, and you're basically able to like account for all of the problems you're creating over here. And that's what I think companies should be doing. I've been trying to remember the economic term for this, but when we look at the price of an item, something that's never accounted for is the cost of pollution. So I think these companies should be charged for however much pollution they're creating, basically like a carbon tax. This video isn't about, I need to not I feel like I'm getting way too in depth into like, I feel like I'm going into so many different tangents in this video, but I'm getting video ideas, so look out for a video on environmental policy, because I think that'd be really interesting. If you guys think that would be interesting, leave it in the comment section below. Great for the algorithm, and also so that I know that you guys actually want that video and I can have it higher up in my priorities of videos that I'm working on. So yeah, I think we should start bullying these companies to make meaningful environmental change. instead of just putting out those really sappy environmental videos and I'm just like, really, Coca-Cola? You're saving the planet. Okay.
One is to connect with those things and those motivations that actually made you want to be on this lifestyle in the first place. I don't know why, but I, for some reason, just when I decided to go sort of low waste, plant-based, vegan, etc., I didn't connect with those motivations very much. And to be fair, when I went vegan,
So for me, there's this little woodsy area by where I live. There's like a little stream. There's like our neighborhood, and then there's like empty land, and then there's like a woods back there, and then there's like an area where there's like a stream, a lot of grass and all that kind of stuff. It's really cute. I'll insert pictures so you guys know what I'm talking about. But we call it Africa. I don't know why. I don't know who came up with that, but we call it Africa. But they're now developing it, and it's so sad because we used to go there all the time when we were younger, and now they like built a road in that area, and they are building houses. I think they might build like some kind of store in that area, so it's really sad seeing that go away. But yeah, definitely connect with the areas that gave you the inspiration to go sustainable. Obviously, if that thing is like the Amazon rainforest, you don't have to get on a plane to go to the rainforest.
Decided to do it for animal welfare at the beginning, so watching these sort of horrific videos, like, I just didn't need to see them anymore, and that was absolutely fine. But not getting out into nature and seeing the beauty outside and everything that was the reason why I wanted to protect this earth, and understanding, you know, the reasons why I wanted to not contribute to fast fashion anymore and understand the human impact and the human stories. Now I make it an absolute must that I connect with those things and those people and those animals and nature, so that my motivation never dwindles. I want to understand every day why I
need to go hiking more. I don't know why I decided to pause this video, but like, watching her hike just is making me want to go hiking.
I am trying to live this lifestyle, why I'm putting out videos, why I'm living a lower impact, why I am eating plant-based and living an ethical vegan lifestyle. So I really encourage you, even if it means getting out for a walk every day or once a week or once a month, just connecting with those motivations, and honestly it will keep you inspired like it kept me. Okay, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again I just want to say thank you.
I feel like my face is really red, but also not red for some reason. Anyways, so final thoughts on the video. Obviously I really enjoyed it. The aesthetic, I really love like the b-roll aspect of it. I think it's always really engaging to watch videos where there's a bunch of b-roll, and I've been trying to incorporate that into my videos, but I'm not a cinematographer. Is that a word? I'm not a cinematographer, so I'm trying my best. But the cinematography of this video, I might just be making that up. But yeah, it's amazing. The aesthetic, I love it. But my final thoughts on the content of the video, I think it's so important to watch videos like this. Like I mentioned earlier, you basically aren't you're basically able to not make the same mistakes as someone else did. So definitely watch videos like this for whatever topic it could be. If you're getting into sewing, watch a video on things I wish I knew before I started sewing, because then you won't make those mistakes. Thank you so much, Aime, for making this video, because I think it's so valuable, and I think these are videos that more people need to be watching. As always, I will have all the videos linked down below so you guys can go access them, and definitely go follow her on Instagram. I don't know why I'm shouting her out, because you guys are probably all following her anyways. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have a website, so definitely go to my website. I don't have anything on there yet, so there's nothing to see yet, but I will have a blog post this Sunday on 50 facts about me, so you can get to know about me. And I also have a video on, I think it's however many number, it's just a get to know me tag. So there's a bunch of questions on there that I answered. So if you want to get to know me, if you want to get to know a little bit more about me, yeah, go watch. I always forget which side it is. I think because the camera is flipped, it's this side, because I know in one of my videos I pointed it this way and it was wrong. I don't know. One of these two is going to be a link to my get to know me tag, and I don't think I can link websites yet because I don't have enough followers yet, but go to my website. It's ourcollectivesparks.com. So go to my website, bookmark it. There's a lot coming soon there. Like I said, I'm gonna start selling things on there soon. As soon as I get everything situated. I'm super busy right now, so I am not going to take that as I'm not going to take on that responsibility yet, but I promise you things are coming soon eventually. But for now, enjoy the free content. Anything else? Oh yeah, subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. It's great. I'm trying to hit 12,000 subscribers this year. That's 1,000 for every month in the year. That was basically the math I did in my head. So help me reach that goal by clicking that subscribe button. And also I'll have my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok linked down below, so you can go follow me on all those platforms. But I think that's it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.